Okay, so Elliot, how are you finding the lockdown first of all?
For the most part, not really any different, really. Besides not meeting everybody at training, I'm just cracking on as normal and training. Just when I instead of doing track sessions, I'm just running stuff on the roads and stuff. But yeah, not a huge difference from my line of work.
Yeah. So you said just then like it's not a huge difference. What differences, if any, has there been in your sort of day-to-day routine? Sorry.
Uh, in the most part, there's not really much other than not being able to meet up with my group, train with them, and sort of socialize. So the biggest difference is not really coming into contact with others, I guess. But besides that, it's pretty much just going through my normal routine of getting on with sort of the double days or just training once a day or however it ends up working out. But I guess one of the biggest things is sort of having my girlfriend around a bit more. But besides that, not really much. In to be completely honest.
Mm. So like you just said, obviously there's not been a lot of difference, but has the sort of intensity and anything been different in your training?
Yeah. The intensities we've kind of taken the edge of training because we were building up. So I was meant to be going on a training camp in the US in 2 days' time. But we've had to sack, obviously for obvious reasons, we've had to leave that. Plans for that are now out the window, and because the Olympics has now been postponed to the following year. Yeah, so we've just had to rearrange and take the edge of training. So we're not going intense anymore. We're just keeping things pretty much quite steady. Only because I think there's still talks of there being a year of competing, but I don't think it's going to start until sort of until sort of September, October. And that means like another 7 months until we can even start racing. So we're back into like a winter phase of training where it's just high volume, very little speed work, and just sort of more of a grind really. Because instead of doing like a shorter reps, you've got to like really dig in and do the longer stuff.
Yeah. So does that take a sort of strain on you mentally as well? So obviously physically it does, but sort of you said not being able to be with your group, so sort of training alone, does that have an effect on you mentally as well?
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, I think it depends on which way you look at it. If training's a chore, if you see training as a chore and you see it as a job, then it probably would take an effect. But I think because I see it as more of a lifestyle and something I enjoy doing, it doesn't feel like I enjoy waking up and going for a run and training. So I don't see it as a problem. Whether I'm with people is a bonus. If I'm not, then as long as I'm able to train, I'm not too disheartened. And of course, the Olympics not being on is a big hit. But at the end, I guess at the end of it, I enjoy training and keeping fit. So. And the Olympics and being able to compete is a bonus. But I think if you're competing purely because you want to just race and earn money and, I don't know, be well known, then you're pretty much going to really struggle now. But no, because I enjoy the process of training and just enjoy the lifestyle that it comes with it. I guess I'm just cracking on and just having things as they would be, just without the racing.
Yeah, you mentioned the Olympics just twice there. Obviously, you went to Rio in 2016. Did you obviously you must have had aspirations to go this year as well?
That's the last 4 years have been geared up to potentially to making the team and going out there and trying to get as close to a medal and trying to win the race, as many races as I can leading up to it. But again, 4 years was a long time, but it's just another year of training, another year banked towards, I guess. I guess the main thing is that the Olympics hasn't been cancelled; it's been postponed. So it's not like they've said we're not going to be racing. We just get to have another crack at it next year, and it's not. So it's all hope isn't lost.
Were you surprised at the length of time the Olympics took to get to the decision to postpone it for this year?
Not really, because I think when you're in a sport, you kind of understand that it's not necessarily about the athletes, and it's more about the financials, and I dread to think how much revenue the Olympics accumulates, like in total. It's got to be into the potentially, a wild guess would be potentially billions, because it's the biggest sporting event in the world, and it only comes around once every 4 years, and sponsors plow hundreds of millions and TV rights and everything else that comes with it. So I think in a horrible way, the event's almost bigger than the athletes. And I think when there's that much financial sort of backing behind it, it's kind of taken out of what works best for the athletes and more how financially does this work. Because I guess if the Olympics was cancelled and not postponed, then the knock-on effect for the following years is huge, really, because that's where people sort of that's where the revenue is generated to be able to support the athletes, etc.
Where does it put you now in sort of your long-term plans? Like, has it had a big effect on sort of where you're aiming to be, like in a year's time? So obviously, like, the Olympics was meant to be this year, and then it's pushed back a year. Has it put your plan in sort of disarray a little bit?
Yeah, somewhat. I guess it puts like a massive speed bump in the road where I guess like financially you have to be able to sort of support yourself for another year, and there's just a small thing. So I guess athletes have to find out where they are with sponsors. If sponsors will honour the contracts, because a lot of athletes need, to get what you're sponsored, you have to meet certain requirements, and of course nobody can meet the requirements because there's no events on. And if you don't get the funding, then you can't continue training for the following years, etc. So I guess we'll see. I guess that's a question athletes will no doubt, if things go south and don't favour the athletes, and I guess if we're not supported, then we can't compete and we can't train. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how things develop over the next few months and how planning is affected, because financially we need to be able to support ourselves to continue training. Otherwise, we end up taking part-time jobs, and then that affects our training as a byproduct. Right.
Having had that injury and having that time away from the sport sort of just prepare you mentally for the time away that you're going to have from the sport?
Oh, massively, yeah. So when I went into the Olympics last time, I had a year's worth of training, 3 years injured, whereas this time I've had the last 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. Well, no, it'll be 5 years by the time we come to the next Olympics. So 5 years of consistent competing, training, learning my trade and stuff. So yeah, it will be a completely different story. I won't be just going there to contend. I'll be going there to try and be an actual contender and potential medalist. So
what sort of ambitions you have for next year? You just mentioned the Olympics. Anything else? Any other sort of goals?
Right. It's an unusual year because we don't know what's going on with the end of this year. We don't know if there'll be a short track season at the end, and then there's also the World Indoors, European Indoors, which will be happening in sort of February, March, and then we'll have the World Champs. No, we won't have the World Champs. They've been postponed to the following year. So we'll have the Olympics next year, and then we'll also have something else, but I'm not sure. We might have the European Champs. Yeah, so we'll have that. So it'll be a busy year.
But how does that affect you, like training indoors a lot more? Obviously, you're probably used to it in gym work and everything, but only having that limited amount of time to run outside and do outside work.
So I'm just doing one bigger hit each day. So if I have a session, I'll just get my big session and stuff done all in one big day. For that one time out. And then if I have other stuff to do, my gym work is done in sort of my garage, or I'll do it in the house. Or alternatively, I'll do. And then my third hit, if I have to cross train or anything, is usually done on a cross trainer, or I can get my turbo trainer out or something. So it works out not too bad, because I'm still able to do the main bulk outside. If I was having to do my sessions indoors on the treadmill or on bikes and stuff, then I might be tearing my hair out. But because I'm able to sort of get out and get the fresh air in me, it's not too bad. And plus, I can still go out walking the dog and stuff. So even if I've been out to run, I can technically still take the dog on a walk, because he has to be walked. So it's not, I'm not trapped in all day, so it's not too bad.
So what sort of things do you get up to in your downtime then?
It varies. I mean, a lot of it's just a whole lot of. I mean, as athletes, you have to learn how to be good at doing nothing. So, for us, if you're training 3 times a day, you don't particularly want to be doing stuff other than sort of chilling out and getting ready for your next session. So, so on a session day, it would be pretty much just doing your session in the morning, grabbing lunch, and then you'll do your gym session. And then by the time you've done your gym session, you're pretty much spent. And then I'd literally just chill out for a few hours, and then I'd go for my 30-minute spin afterwards. And besides that, there's not really much to do. And then your following days are pretty much down days, and you just appreciate sort of just chilling out, watching movies and stuff, because you've got a double day that day, and then it's only really one rest day. So, but of course now I'm only training once a day because there's no Olympics. So now I've got a bit more downtime. So it's just pretty much chilling out and just enjoying company.
Is it nice to have that bit of downtime, sort of like bit more than you used to?
Yeah, it's downtime within reason. I'm still pretty much spent every day. Like yesterday, I was supposed to train 3 times yesterday, but I could only handle the one session because I was pretty much spent. But again, with the edge not being there, the Olympics sort of being on the horizon, I don't particularly feel like I'm missing out if I miss a session. So it takes the edge off a little bit, and I don't need to necessarily put myself into potential injury zone